So let's take a deep dive look at Federer's service motion and what you can copy from him to improve your serve. Big shout out to Tennis Unleashed on YouTube. Please subscribe. They have an amazing account. I've put the link in the description below. Now, in order to get the most out of this video, it's going to be really important that you film yourself from this exact angle so that you can compare what you see here in this video with Federer's serve to what you see in your own video. I'm a big believer that proper video analysis is the absolute best way to improve your technique, your student's technique, maybe your child's technique. So you've got to make sure that you are constantly filming your technique, and then you are looking for certain cues and techniques that you're going to learn in this video and other videos, and then compare what you are currently doing with what you see the pros doing, and with this video, with what Federer is doing on the serve. So the first thing, and it's always the first thing, is the grip. So if you want to have a service motion and be able to maximize how fast you can serve, it's going to be vital that you use a continental grip. That's where the base knuckle of your index finger and your heel pad are on bevel number 2. Also known as the chopper grip, but depending on where you are in the world, but you've got to make sure that you have a continental grip. We'll talk about why in just a second here. But the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the body is really 3 things that he synchronizes perfectly. And that has to do with his leg drive, his tossing hand, and when his racket knocks off the birthday hat, or it's about to knock off the birthday hat. Check this out. So right here is a fully engaged loading phase. This is at the moment where his knee bend is the deepest. His racket is at the classic trophy pose, as coaches call it. And this is when his tossing hand is now at its highest and it's ready to drop. So there are 3 things I want you to look for on your serve when you film yourself from this back angle that I want you to make sure you're doing. And that is the leg drive begins going up. The tossing hand then begins dropping, and the racket begins passing in over the head. Those 3 events should be occurring at the same time if you want to maximize the efficiency and the biomechanics and the kinetic chain in the throwing motion, which just happens to be the type of motion we're trying to make on the serve. So if we look at Federer's legs, we can see that right now he's beginning to go up, right? Here, right? You can see that he's going up. But I want you to notice peripherally, this is at the exact moment that his tossing hand is dropping. See, if we go earlier in the serve, after he releases, his left hand keeps going up. See how his left hand, his tossing hand, is getting closer to the top of the fence? From our view, if you know what I mean. But look, see how his left hand is going up still? It's going up, it's going up. His tossing hand's going up, right? It's not like many players, they release the ball. Many amateur players, they release the ball, and then right here, they begin dropping this arm. This hand, your tossing hand, should stay way up in the air until the legs begin driving up. And then that's when that hand can begin coming down. So you can see Federer keeps his hand up as he's bending his knees. So watch his knees, tossing hands going up as his body is going down because of the leg drive. Or I'm sorry, because of the bending of the legs before he drives up. And then as his legs, watch his legs start to come up, that's when he begins dropping the tossing arm. So what occurs is the body is going up because of the leg drive as the tossing hand and the racket drop. So watch this. Watch his body goes up as the tossing hand and the racket go down. Many players many amateur players mistakenly let the racket get way down here, and then they begin driving up with the body. You are going to maximize the shoulder stretch and the racket drop if you can synchronize the body going up, which is what? The legs driving up. The body's only going to go up because you're pressing off and you're pushing off the ground. If you can synchronize the body going up with the exact moment that the racket begins passing in over your head, what I call knocking off the birthday hat, That's when you're going to get the deepest drop and shoulder stretch back. This is a lot of flexibility right here. But what you've got to make sure of is that you're looking for these three things. That the tossing hand begins dropping as the racket begins coming in over your head as the body is going up, and you want them to happen all at the same time. Now, the next thing, I want you to notice, and we're going to talk about his body still, I want you to notice, we're going to go to contact here, that there's contact. I want you to notice that his left shoulder, now this is on the do side, this is not on the ad side, this is on the do side. His left shoulder is in front of his right shoulder. So I'm going to draw a straight line between those two spots. Let me actually make it a little better. His left shoulder is in front of his right shoulder. Many amateur players rotate way too much toward the target. It is really important on all serves that you feel that your tossing hand shoulder, so this is his tossing hand, that his tossing hand is his left hand, so his left shoulder, it's really important that you keep that front shoulder, for him it was his left shoulder, right? His left shoulder is his front shoulder, that you keep that shoulder in front at contact. That produces a reactive break. Now the way he's doing that is actually tucking in this arm to slow his body down, which accelerates his racket. Let's check out his body rotation. Look at his body uncoiling. His body is uncoiling. So here we're looking at his back, and now he's uncoiling. But watch right here how the uncoil stops for just a second. It's really from here. From here to here, there's not much body rotation. Where prior, he's got a lot of uncoil. Body uncoiling, body uncoiling, body uncoiling. And then right here, his body starts to slow down. Why? Watch his tossing hand. His tossing hand drops and then it pulls back into his body. Watch this. Look at his tossing hand drop, but then look, it pulls back in slightly. His tossing hand dropped and then pulled back in. I'll show it to you one more time. Watch the tossing hand drop and then it pulls back in, almost like his arm's in a sling. And it's broken, right? So he broke his arm and now it's in a sling and it's in a cast. What that does is it slows the body down. And when you slow the body down, the racket accelerates. Spinning the body is not what you want while you're hitting. You want to rotate the body until just before contact. And then right here, you want to stop the body or slow it down. And that actually creates a reactive break that accelerates the racket. And then last, let's look at the racket. Look how he's leading with the edge of the racket. One of the drills I actually have my students do is actually hit the ball with the edge of the racket, just to learn how to get that hand supinated, which means palm facing the camera from this view. The strings are facing directly at the camera right now, and it looks like he's going to hit the edge of the racket. But the reason we want a continental grip is so that we can get up to the ball with the edge. That requires pronation. Pronation is the fastest way to fire the forearm and the racket at the ball. So you lead with the edge of the racket and you can actually see at contact, the right edge of his racket is still in front. That's easily done, especially because his left shoulder was in front, but you can see his right edge is in front of the left edge. But that's allowing him to hit side spin. He's what will feel to be carving on the outside of the ball, and that gets the ball to curve and spin. So I really want you to look at what you're doing with your body. Make sure you have a continental grip. Make sure that your leg drive comes up as the tossing hand drops as you knock off the birthday hat. Lead with the edge of the racket. Lead with the edge even at contact for a side spin serve. And then after, and you can see him tucking in that left arm, after contact, that's when you're going to pronate. And the strings, you can see his strings are actually facing off to the right, kind of like over toward this fence. So work on these ideas. Look at your own service motion. I know that if you get the continental grip, you synchronize when the body goes up with when the tossing arm drops and when you knock off the birthday hat. Leading with the edge, making sure at contact, if you're right-handed, the right edge is in front, and then pronating after contact with a relaxed follow-through on your left side. If you're right-handed, your serve will improve. Good luck. Leading with the edge, making sure at contact, if you're right-handed, the right edge is in front, and then pronating after contact with a relaxed follow through on your left side. If you're right-handed, your serve will improve. Good luck.